UFC 241, Honda Center, Anaheim, California. I'll break down 4 fights. I mean, there are good fighters on the card, but I want to break down those fights who are really, let's say really entertaining, and this is just my thoughts. The first one is the middleweight clash between the former guy who fought for Show Fight middleweight championship, where he was defeated to Kendall Grove, Derek Brunson, and Ian Heinisch. Derek Brunson, kinda UFC veteran, holds wins over Ed Herman, Sam Alvey, Ron Cornero, Uriah Hall, even a stoppage against Lyoto Machida, Dan Kelly. He is a hell of a puncher, ladies and gentlemen. NCAA Division II Wrestling, purple belt in BJJ. But he is a hell of a puncher. I mean, when he starts barraging you, you're fucked up. You got to know you're fucked up. In the last combat, he fought Elias Teodoro. It was pretty much, let's say, solid bout, but it ended via unanimous decision. On the other side, we got Ian Heinisch. Ian Heinisch had a solid LFA career, winning Gabriel Checo, Daniel Madrid, Lucas Rota. The majority of his wins comes via KO punches or via scarf hold arm lock, which is, you can freely say, one of his special moves. I think he's a more complete fighter compared to Derek Brunson, but on the other side, his only loss came to Marcus Perez. He defeated Cesar Ferreira and Antonio Carlos Jr. via unanimous decision. They are not bad fighters, but they are far from the quality of Derek Brunson. So who would I pick here? If the fight goes to the ground, maybe Ian Heinisch has slight advantage, but I think Derek Brunson will outlast him. I'm pretty much sure of it. And on the other side, we got Yoel Romero. Oh, you all know Yoel Romero, the man who won UFC middleweight championship, but he was ineligible for that interim title because he missed weight, and he also missed weight on few occasions. The guy, well, man, middleweight is not your weight class, and we all know that, and I'm pretty much afraid he competed in Olympic Games at wrestling, and he was a Pan-American wrestling champion. In World Championships, he had a gold. In Olympic Games, he had a silver. So he's a wrestler from hell. He had ups and downs in the last 3 combats. Robert Whittaker decisioned him 2 times. He KO'd Luke Rockhold. He holds victories over Chris Weidman, Ronaldo Souza, Lyoto Machida, Tim Kennedy, Brett Tavares, Derek Brunson, Ronnie Marquez, Clifford Starks. Man, he is just a hell of a guy. The only man who knocked him out was Rafael Cavalcante. Paulo Costa, well, there was a lot of beef between those two. He is a BJJ black belt, but I think this BJJ can't help him against Yoel Palacio Romero. He's the former Jungle Fight middleweight champion. He has 4 wins in a row in UFC, 20-0 perfect score, victories over Garrett McClellan, Oluvale Bangboza, Johnny Hendricks, and Uriah Hall, all via stoppages, first round or second round, but nobody has survived second round against him. We'll see what will happen against Yoel Romero. I don't know, man. I have some kind of feeling towards Paulo Costa here. I don't know why, but I'm afraid that Yoel Romero won't pass the scale. If the fight goes to the ground, then yes, Romero, but I highly doubt Costa is such an easy guy to take down, and I think Paulo Costa will have the advantage here. And now probably the main event before main event. Nate Diaz, BJJ black belt, Cesar Jiu-Jitsu fighter, who squares off against Anthony Showtime Pettis. This is the clash of 2 big names. TUF 5 tournament winner Nate Diaz, the Warrior Cup lightweight champion, the former. Oh man, a great fighter. A man known for his back and forth bout with Conor McGregor, who hasn't fought since 2016. He was scheduled for UFC 230, but Dustin Poirier hurt himself, and you know that. What about that beef and Dana White and so on. 2-2 in last combat defeats to Rafael dos Anjos, Conor McGregor. Victories over Michael Menos Johnson and Conor McGregor, and man, he has strong punches, also great submission skills. The majority of his victories came via submissions, triangle choke, guillotine choke, armbar. You don't want to go with Nate on the ground. and you know that he fought for the UFC lightweight championship title, and he was outlasted by Benson Henderson. On the other side, Anthony Showtime Pettis, the former UFC lightweight champion. If I remember well, he is the former WEC lightweight champion. Yeah, he switched his weight class recently, and this is, I think, a bullseye for him, because in the last match, Superman Punch against Steven Thompson, man, this was a great win. But he also defeated Michael Chiesa via triangle armbar, lost to Tony Ferguson via corner stoppage due to a broken arm. Taekwondo black belt, BJJ black belt, Showtime is in, I don't want to say in his prime, but welterweight is his class. I mean, he looks great, he looks amazingly, and this is, I think this is his combat. Nate Diaz has maybe one of the best chins we've ever seen, but Anthony Showtime Pettis is my pick. And now going to the finals, or the main event, the title combat between Daniel Cormier on one side and Stipe Miocic. The two already squared off one against each other. They met at UFC 226 when Daniel Cormier, surprisingly, who is a UFC double champ, surprisingly a former UFC double champ, who defeated Stipe Miocic via that clinch KO, clinch punch. He holds wins over. Only guy who really defeated him was John Jones at UFC 182. His later victory was overturned to no contest, but let's just look. Anthony Johnson, Alexander Gustafsson, Anderson Silva, Anthony Johnson again, two-time rear naked choke, Volkan Ozdemir, also Derek Lewis. Man, he has a rear naked choke from hell. This is what I can say about Daniel Cormier. On the other side, Stipe Miocic is the former UFC heavyweight champion, a wrestler, a great wrestler. I mean, he was defeating big names. Stefan Struve finished him very, very early on, but after the defeat to Junior Dos Santos, victories in a row to Mark Hunt, Andrei Arlovsky, Fabricio Verdum, Alistair Overeem, Junior Dos Santos, Francis Ngannou. There is no guy who defeated him two times. Such guy doesn't exist. Despite I think Cormier is in a better shape, I'd vouch here for Stipe Miocic, because I don't think he let Cormier defeat him two times, and he won't make the same mistakes he made the last time.